Guys, I like unique knives, and we're going to take a look at this strange little guy. This is the Reedus by KATSU Knives, and it's definitely interesting. So let's turn this around and take a look at it from above.
Guys, I gotta say, I think this might be the most unique knife I've had come in from KATSU. It's the Reedus, and I'm kind of impressed with it. There's some things I don't like about it, but this so far today has been a lot of fun. Now, this is it's a Tanto. Like, it's a really unique Tanto, and just looking at it, you can see it's definitely interesting. But I gotta say, from what I've done with it so far, it's really comfortable and it cuts really well. This thing is done in S35VN, and it has got a true Tanto on it. Now, we'll talk about the edge grind later, but this is basically what you would expect or kind of see in a Japanese style Tanto. It does not have a distal taper. Very, very similar to this knife, the WE Knives 601, and you can see on it the very, very distinct similarities with grind and everything, which is a knife I really, really love. So let's get this out of here. Now, the grind on this is a little bit different because it does have that Americanized Tanto tip, but this is a very straight blade with a nice little area up here that is swept. So if you want to do some sweeping cuts around something, say you needed to do some of those, you can do it. But it's really straight across the majority of the blade, which means you don't lose anything if you like a Warncliffe. So you're push cutting or things like that. If you're trying to shave off wood or if you're cutting things, really does work well. The handles on it are unique, but really comfortable. Now, you don't have a finger choil on this per se, like a full choil. You have a small little notch at the ricasso, not technically even a choil, but just basically it's ground up to the ricasso and low. So technically a choil, but not really. But it's got that nice little flat spot, but you can get on that and really use it. The handle is really flat across the spine, nice and consistent with the blade. And it's more contoured on the interior of the handle, which it makes it really comfortable. It does make it really comfortable. You've got this area out here, up here that's dipped out. And when I first saw it, I'm like, that's just weird looking. But you can get way up on this. And like I said, use that for different purposes. There's all kinds of different hand holds on this. You can get on it like this in a reverse, and you can pull cut through like line and things like that. It is thumb stud or, I'm sorry, aperture only. The aperture is not great for me, but it still is functional. But the thumb stud action on it is great. Reverse flick works really well. It is a very unique and uniquely attractive knife, in my opinion. Access to the lock bar on this, really, really good. There is no issue in and out of pocket with either the pocket clip or the cutout for the lock bar tension, because it's nice and soft and it doesn't catch on pocket material. It is a deeper style pocket clip, not super deep, but this does sit nice, and it does sit nice forward in the pocket up towards the zipper area. If you happen to be carrying two knives, it's nice. Action on it, as I would expect from KATSU, has been great. Now, I've only had this rambling I'm doing is because I've only had this in pocket for about 3 hours. I put it in my pocket this morning. It's about 11 o'clock now. I put it in my pocket this morning after I'd done a couple other things. So I haven't done a lot of cutting with it, but it has done a really good job. So there's a couple things like, oh man, that action is so smooth. Watch this. Just shy of drop shot. There's a couple small things about this that I'm not a big fan of, and we can talk about those right after you guys hear from a video sponsor.
Guys, a big shout out to Dollstrong for sponsoring this portion of this video. I just wanted to point out that you are not going to find a knife that is more comfortable in hand in the kitchen than the Dollstrong Phantom series. This is my Phantom series paring knife. They sent this to me. I've used this so much. You just cannot get by how comfortable they are. And not only are they comfortable, they're gorgeous. You can see it there. It is a beautiful series of knives. They're done with natural materials, quality steel, and they are some of the sharpest kitchen knives you're going to find. So go down to the link below. Check out Dollstrong. They are supporting this channel. It doesn't cost you anything at checkout. Guys, that's it. Let's turn this around and get back to the video.
So the first little negative is, I'm as good as the pocket clip is in pocket, I'm not a fan of it in hand. a fan of these pocket clips. It's not a real bad hotspot, but I'm definitely aware of it. And I think later when I'm going to be doing some heavier cutting and I'm going to be testing this knife more heavily than I have so far today, I think I'm going to find that I don't like it. Next thing, I kind of just wish they had just rounded this over. You would have had the same cutting power and everything in this knife without this secondary point. And the fact is, where the secondary point is on this is not where it should be. It should technically be back here, where this point marries up, where that grind marries up with the edge. That's where it should be. And you can see it's a little off. And personally, if this is my knife, that would just get rounded into it. So I don't need that. The next thing, there is a very sharp spot right there. That little corner, you can see right there where they brought those two edges up, left a very, here, let me zoom in on it for you. Very sharp spot right there in hand. It's actually got its own little edge right there. You can see it. That, not just for most people, but even for me with calloused hands, is really sharp. And when you're bearing down on it like this in the cut, you can definitely feel it. The next thing that I would say, the aperture on it, it's not great. I would have been happy without it, especially with how close the thumb studs, if you watch, how close the thumb studs circle around because they're so far back. When I try to do that, I hit my finger with the thumb studs. So not big fan of the aperture. And then this could have easily had, for you guys that like lanyards, a lanyard post. I like the fact they didn't put a lanyard hole in it, but they could have put a lanyard post. And the last thing, the pocket clip wiggles a little. I can feel it flex. Not a big deal anymore. I've got so many knives that I've fallen in love with that have it, like this PMP Big Boy. You can see it has a lot of movement in it. So I'm not as critical of that, but I can definitely feel it. And it's one of those things that I like to point out. But I mean, I think overall, I'm going to like the knife. So for right now, it's a yup. There may be some things that I find later, but that's it for now, guys. Let's turn this around. We'll do some final thoughts, and I'll send you out about your day.
Guys, this Reedus, this is definitely an interesting looking knife. It's a really good knife. I like it so far. We'll see how things pan out. My opinions might change on some things. I forgot to mention that there's a lot of weight reduction on this knife, which means it's a very light knife for its size. I wish I had put that out there in the beginning, but hey, you guys know, it's first hand pockets. I just kind of riff on these. There's nothing written or anything like that. So guys, that's it. You know you saw an ad, so you know I've got sponsors. A couple of them have discounts. Coffee Brand, Coffee, Temper Trail. There's links down below that have discount codes built into them. There's a coupon code of Crazy Sharp that works at several vendors, including Beyond EDC, where right now I believe it's still 40% off. And Rosecraft Knives, Fair and Forged Knife Works saves you 10% there. You can use my affiliate links down below to do any shopping you're going to do for knives. I'd appreciate it if you can buy knives to use those. I've got an Amazon store. You can use that for any shopping. Take that link, pin it to your browser, use it for all your Amazon shopping. I have got a public Discord that I've built. It's down below. It says join the community. Go join up over there. We'll have some fun. And I have a membership where I do giveaways. I have exclusive content. There's a premium tier sharpening tutorial series and a private Discord. Guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comment section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I'll see you in the next video.